A deep divide within the Democrat Party. Michigan progressive Rashida Tlaib scheduled to respond to the president's first State of the Union address tonight. House moderate Josh Gottheimer calling the move, quote, like keying your own car and slashing your own tires, and, quote, massively counterproductive for the Democrat Party. Here to discuss is Brit Hume, Fox News senior political analyst. Brit, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Has this ever happened before where a member of the president's own party has sort of a counter address after his State of the Union?
Well, I cannot tell you how many of these I've covered. I mean, I go back to the 1970s on these things. And there have been some interesting people chosen to do the responses, and
Yes.
there have been interesting people chosen to sit in the gallery with first ladies and others and so on. But I don't remember anything like this with what the Democrats are going to have two responses to their own president.
It's amazing.
That's a new one on me.
And, honestly, when you look at how this president has governed, much farther to the left than to the moderate that he claimed to American voters he was going to govern as, I'm wondering what their problem is.
Well, look, there's left and then there's left of left. And the Democratic Party is populated by a lot of people these days who are left of left, and they have a remarkable amount of influence when you consider someone, junior members like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's certainly got some talent. She's a kind of an eye-catching person, but she spouts the most remarkable things, and yet there she is, head up and banners flying, and everybody paying attention to her. And that obviously is one of the things that the Democrats have to deal with. You got a country which clearly thinks that Joe Biden has gone too far to the left, and then you get the spectacle of these people trying to pull him even farther to the left. So it isn't, I don't think in political terms, is it all helpful to the party to have this happen.
Well, aren't Democrats in leadership positions, those in charge of the Senate races upcoming and the House races upcoming in the midterms, they must be concerned about this because, as you say, the American people, we had that Washington Post poll, which was shocking, that showed that among independents, the largest voting bloc in America, only 30% support the president. I would venture to guess that that's largely because of his move to the left. I would imagine that leadership in the Democrat Party worried about midterms are particularly worried about this.
Yeah, you'd think so. But remember, a lot of this has to do with, where the votes are. And, in congressional districts, around the country, the breakdown may not be quite along the line so unfavorable as the polls are. Nonetheless, I don't think very many Democrats think they're going to hold the House in this upcoming election because they came so close to losing it the last time, even though they won the presidential election. So they know they're in trouble, which is why you see so many resignations and departures and so on among Democrats who wants to either lose and many of them don't want to serve in the minority, which is where they're likely to end up. The Senate, of course, is another matter.
Now, Brett, I've heard you speak eloquently about how we're not likely to see a pivot from this president who has never really shown himself to go up against the Democrat Party as a whole, and it's moved to the left. However, are we going to see at least a feint to the center by the president tonight? Maybe a pullback from BBB or other left-wing proposals that are still kind of hanging out there?
Well, he may de-emphasize some of those things because they're not going anywhere anytime soon. I think BBB, Build Back Better, with all that spending, is probably dead. He'll probably make a nod in the direction of some fragments of it passing and so on. But I don't think we're going to see a major pivot for sure, David. And for everything we've been told about the speech so far, it doesn't look like we're going to get that. Now, I really do believe, David, that this is a big moment on the world stage. This Ukraine invasion, which nobody kind of really expected, and they certainly didn't expect that if it happened, that it would turn out the way it so far has. Now, obviously, Russia is likely to win this overall as time goes on. But I think they were looking for a decisive and quick strike, almost surgical, to topple that government and install some kind of a quisling in there to do the bidding of Vladimir Putin. And if that had happened, David, I think that the story and the response to it would have blown over much sooner than it now will.
Yeah.
People have been struck and inspired by the resistance by the Ukrainians, by the courage shown by Ukrainian leadership. The world's attention has been riveted on this, and the worse it gets for the poor Ukrainians, the worse it gets also, it seems to me, from Moscow, which provides a Western leader like President Biden with a real chance to step up and say, all right, we're going to resist this. We're going to resist this dictator. We're going to help to wean Europe off its dependency on Russian oil, which is something the United States could do by greatly increasing our own oil production, our own oil and gas production, and energy production in general. A smart leader might now say, now is the time for the United States, with a bout of the environment, to say we're going to start building nuclear reactors in some number again. That would be a great move, and I think it would in the end be popular, but it would not be popular within the Democratic Party, which is where I think the president will have his eyes.
I think you may be right on that. Brit Hume, as you're right on so many other things. Good to see you, Brit. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.